Well, last night, the third episode of The Last of Us streamed on HBO. It's based on a 10-year-old video game, and the show follows a group of people trying to survive a global pandemic. Heard of that?
Relatable.
In a post-apocalyptic world.
That's right.
Well, thankfully, that's not relatable, at least not yet.
Yes, not yet. And last night's episode focused on Bill, who was in a same-sex relationship. For many in the gaming community, this was their first major experience with an LGBTQ character. NBC News youth and internet culture reporter Kalhan Rosenblatt joins us now with the reaction to the show. Good morning, Kalhan. So last night's episode focused on Bill, who had a smaller role in the game. So why and how has Bill created such a following, especially among LGBTQ players?
Well, Zinkley, Savannah, for many LGBTQ players, this was their first interaction, as you mentioned, with an LGBTQ character. And, they have said to me, many people in the industry, that, this is not an industry that feels very welcoming all the time to LGBTQ people and to queer narratives. We don't see them as frequently in video games as we do, sort of straight and, sort of heteronormative narratives. So Bill, being this queer character, was a huge landmark for these gamers who were kind of hoping to see themselves in a blockbuster hit like The Last of Us. So for them to see Bill get his own episode, it feels like a watershed moment for queer stories in video games.
And Kalhan, one of the show's main characters, Ellie, is also in a same-sex relationship in the game, right?
Yes, she is. So Ellie in the second game is also in a lesbian relationship with her partner, Dina, and they, go on to have a family. So The Last of Us, the video game, the game that this series is based on, has long been, a trailblazer in the space of LGBTQ stories in video games. I reported when The Last of Us Part 2 came out that it was sort of trailblazing for having, a trans character in this AAA title. So we've seen in the gaming world The Last of Us really blazing a trail to keep these narratives in the forefront. And now the show is sort of following in those footsteps with the episode last night about Bill and Frank and their, queer romance and having that at the center of a major HBO show.
And Kalhan, of course, we got to talk about the viewer reaction. I know you talked to some viewers. What's their general reaction, and how might this impact future storylines?
Gamers who are in the LGBTQ community are in awe of this episode. I spoke with so many who said they had just finished crying after sort of getting to get over their emotions of watching this. This was really special to a lot of people, and this meant a lot to a lot of people. And I spoke with people in the industry who said, having a queer character in a video game adaptation enter the homes of so many people, hopefully this shows them, that LGBTQ stories are a part of the gaming industry. There are large communities of queer people in the gaming industry, and that they hope to see, this breaking ground so that in the future we see more representation in video games, not just the adaptations, but also the games that you hold in your hand.
Kalhan Rosenblatt, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is getting so much buzz. Thanks, Kalhan.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.